Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. The second DLC for Outward has a lot of new content, but what's perhaps one of the most interesting things about this DLC is the new skill trainer. Primal Ritualist trainer has really unique skills that he can teach you, which are based around totems. On the first sight, this might seem like a really passive playstyle, where you just place totems on the ground to get some buffs or apply some debuffs to the enemy. And while this is partly true, there's a lot more to it. As with many other gameplay features in Outward, the playstyle of these new abilities have step-by-step approach. All the active abilities use stamina as resource, you won't need any mana points invested. Same as pretty much every other skill tree in the game, you will have some decisions to make because you can't get all the skills. But as always, I will showcase all the skills that you can get from this trainer and you'll see how exactly they work. So let's not waste any more time. The location of this new trainer is actually really hard to miss. His house is located on the southwest, in between the ruined village and Cabal of the Wind Pillar. Now, before you start learning any of these new skills, you should first get the ingredients you need for getting the totems. Otherwise, you won't be able to use most of these abilities, so what's the point? The trainer can make both totems for you, as long as you have the proper ingredients. Only 2 of these ingredients are actually new items that can only be found in Caldera, the new DLC zone. And those are Hexastone and Rainbow Peach seeds. Other ingredients are pretty common items and you should probably already have them in your inventory or in your stash. I'm pretty sure that Rainbow Peach tree is randomly generated when you enter Caldera, but I might be wrong about this. They only seem to grow on a tree that looks like this. That's pretty much the only tip I can give you for finding them. But you shouldn't have a lot of problems to find one when you start exploring the new zone. Once you loot the tree, you will need to boil the peach and then you'll get some seeds you need. When it comes to the Hexastone, you will find them on the far east, near these granite structures, and all you need to do is mine them. Once you have everything, go ahead and ask the trainer to make the ghost drums and sky chimes. And now you're ready to start learning and using these new skills. The first skill you can learn is called Haunting Beat. This skill allows you to deploy a totem which causes haunted effects in a small radius. Every time you strike the totem with your melee weapon, you will send a ranged projectile to the closest enemy, which appears to do some material damage. And combined with the initial haunted effect on the totem, which reduces the ethereal resistance of enemies, the damage of the projectile is pretty decent. It's not great, but it's really important to try and increase the charges of your drums by hitting them. The ranged projectile is decent for some extra damage, and the haunted debuff is pretty sweet, especially if your weapons deal ethereal damage. Totems can also be very useful for avoiding ranged attacks, because you can basically use them as a shield. The next skill in the tree is called Welkin Ring. Just like the Haunted Beat, you deploy this totem on the ground. It will apply the Doom status effect in a small radius, and it also has a projectile-based attack upon hit. Doomed status effect causes minus 25% lightning damage and minus 25% lightning resistance. The projectile attack is lightning-based as well. It will cost you 20 stamina to deploy, and just like the Haunted Beat, the cooldown is 2 minutes. The last pre-breakthrough skill in the tree is a passive effect called Miasmic Tolerance. It simply increases your status effect resistance by 15% when well rested. The breakthrough point is called Sacred Fumes and it increases your barrier by 7. Barrier is a new defensive status effect that works exactly like Protection, but for elemental damage. If you don't remember how Protection works, it basically reduces the amount of damage taken by a flat amount. So the barrier stat does the same thing, but only for the elemental damage. If you want a little reminder about stats, you can check out this video. Now we came to the point where you need to choose between 2 skills: Nurturing Echo or Reverberation. Nurturing Echo requires at least 1 totem within 15 meters, and it will generate a bubble around nearby totems. The bubble provides restoration of some kind, and it will last longer if you build up your totem charges. Reverberation recalls a deployed totem to your inventory and it creates an AoE damage effect. The size, damage type and duration depends on the totem and how many charges it has built up. By the way, you build up charges by hitting the totem. This is probably my favorite skill from this trainer because it can be a really powerful tool which stun locks all the enemies around you. And the damage is actually really decent if you build up your charges. The next skill in the tree is a passive effect called Harmony and Melody. It allows you to have both Sky Chimes and Ghost Drums totems at close proximity of each other. It's a must-have ability if you plan to go deep in this skill tree. And the last skill in the tree is also a passive effect. Battle Rhythm increases your barrier by 5 as long as you have Sky Chimes totem deployed. And it also increases your protection stat when you have Ghost Drums deployed within 8 meters. All of these bonuses apply to your allies as well. You don't have to choose between the last two skills, you can get them both, as long as you have the silver. It seems like this skill tree is a really good choice for the co-op gameplay. All the stat bonuses and crowd controlling effects will be really useful when you're playing with a friend. In fact, the whole DLC seems to be really co-op friendly. To be honest, I don't think I will spend a lot of time playing with this new skill tree because it's not really my style of gameplay. But I'll try to combine it with at least one of my builds and see how it goes. For example, in this fight you can see how effective these skills can be for controlling a couple of enemies at once and avoiding their ranged attacks. With some patience and crowd control, you can do enough damage with your totems and just finish them off in a couple of hits. It's obvious that this skill tree is not meant to offer an aggressive playstyle like some other skill trees in the game, but it definitely offers a different gameplay experience than anything else in the game. I think it's a pretty good choice, especially if you don't prefer to stay in melee range a lot. But this definitely shouldn't be the first skill tree where you decide to spend your breakthrough points, at least I wouldn't do that. Even if you don't decide to go deeper in the skill tree, you can still get both totems from the trainer. Try them out for a bit, and if you like them, then you can spend your precious breakthrough points. There has been some talk about increasing the breakthrough points you have on one character. Some people think that 3 breakthrough points per character is just not enough, but I would actually disagree with this. If you could have at least one more breakthrough point to spend, you would be overpowered as hell. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful and entertaining. The DLC is coming out on December 15th, so you won't have to wait a lot before you get your hands on it. Besides the new skill tree, we're getting a city builder feature, new zone in the game, new armors and weapons, and new arrow types. And that's actually the plan for my next video. I will show you all the new arrow types in the game and their special effects. Stay tuned for more Outward content, and if you enjoyed this video, a like would be highly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe for more RPG content. If you want to support the channel in the long run, consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You can get your name on the end credits, as well as some other perks like early access to videos, Discord roles, my plans for future content, etc, etc. That will be all, and I'll see you in the next one.